Good morning. Michael Masserang here again, and today we're starting a new project up in Charlotte in the downtown area in the 28205 zip code. And we've worked on several houses in this neighborhood. These are older homes built in the 40s, 50s, some in the 60s, and they all have vented crawl spaces, which has become a pretty popular industry in this particular part of the country, especially in Charlotte. A lot of different companies that are in the crawl space business, and there's certainly differing opinions on what levels of service to perform on these old crawl spaces. I wanted to talk about this house in particular because a lot of the companies do promote encapsulations. And this house does have some work installed from another company. This company is one of the biggest companies that was in the Charlotte market. They've recently sold out. But it does have an old sump pump and a foundation drain system in the crawl space, which we'll look at here in a minute. Also, this is the exit line for that sump system. And we're gonna do some maintenance on this system. Clean things out. You can see where there's debris and soot and dirt in the exit line. I want to clean all that out for the client. Flow test this. The sump basin's on the inside, and about half of the footprint does contain a foundation drainage system, which we'll look at. One of the things on these old houses, you see all these trees. This is a beautiful part of Charlotte. A lot of old trees, and it's pretty popular to keep these old trees, which is really a great thing for the environment. But one thing that homeowners will certainly overlook is bushes. And I can see here the homeowners already started to work on removing this holly bush. When I got here last month, all these bushes were pretty overgrown. And one thing you want to do around the foundation is you want to have small plants, and you want to have your flower beds graded properly so that you can get the water away from the house. And this is something that you'll see a lot with houses in these older sections of Charlotte, is you'll see overgrown bushes, and you'll see flower beds that are just too high from yard debris and from what we call heaving from the plants. And so we always recommend to remove any big invasive plants around the flower beds. And this is a plant here that is on the list to trim back, and we certainly recommend going back with smaller plants and rocks, a mixture of rocky hardscapes and so forth. But you can see here these we need to do some work on the vent wells, get those cleaned out for the customer. And of course, this tree here should also probably be removed. So what we're going to do on this house is we're going to do a hybrid program. And this crawl space is fairly roomy. On the left side, or I'm sorry, on the right side if you're facing it from the front, it's a corner lot. But you get to the left side, in the back, it gets pretty tight. So this particular solution, we're not doing an encapsulation. We're gonna stay under the confines of vented code. As you can see here, the guys have set up containment. We're on the first day of work today. And because it's so tight in this crawl space in the back, we are gonna have to remove some of the ductwork, which we've already started to do. And they've already started to remove the debris from the crawl space proper, getting this trash out of here, and we're gonna remove all this insulation. Naturally this house is 50, 60 years old. So in order to repair, clean the mold that's been building up in here for a long time, we have to remove all this insulation, get rid of the trash, remove the ductwork that's inside the work area so that the guys can get back in there to clean it in the first place. And what happens, you'll see companies in this market, they'll run across this situation, try to encapsulate the crawl space, and they'll do what's called a fogging or a mold bomb type of a product, which you cannot, that does not kill mold. That is a complete, if anyone wants to fog your crawl space and call it a remediation, you want to send them to the door politely. The only way you can properly clean mold in a vented crawl space like this is you have to remove the insulation, and you have to clean the entire substructure, all the framing. Everything needs to be cleaned, treated, cleaned, and then you re-insulate when the wood moisture drops under 18%. So that's what we're doing today, is sort of, we're getting started with things. I wanted to show the sump pump. This drain system that you'll see here, we're glad they removed the plastic here. This is what we call a pipe and gravel system. And it looks like they did a pretty good job. There's the company that did put this work in for many years was very reputable and did a good job with their drains. And this is the sump basin. Back in those days, this is what we see. This is a battery operated water watch alarm that is louder than it can be. When it goes off, it really wakes up everybody in the house, which I guess you want to do. But in order to turn it off, you gotta get your slippers on in the middle of the night when it could be cold outside, and you have to come in here and deactivate it. So an older technology for an alarm. What we're going to do here is we are going to install an Atmox system on this account, and instead of the encapsulation, we're going to do the Atmox controller, which is going to allow this crawl space to stay under vented code. And we're going to tie this system all into one central complex, the Atmox B box. And one of the features that it has is a sump alarm. So we can replace this with an actual sump alarm, and the customer will have the controller upstairs at a place that they choose that's going to show the relative humidity, temperature, the condition of the sump basin. All these different things will be available for that customer to see on this solution. So we are going to completely automate this crawl space. We're going to put it on controlled ventilation. We've got good foundation vents on this side of the house, so we can bring in the outside air when it's on a when it's a good day. So we definitely want to utilize the air outside when it's good for air exchange, and when it's not good outside for air exchange, this protocol will have a dehumidifier. And most importantly, we're going to have a series of dead corner fans positioned on the floor system in order to move that air, stale air, from the dead pockets all the way from this side of the crawl space to the other side that you saw in the beginning that's so tough to get to. So now we'll be able to keep that place, or that part of the footprint, dry and allow this crawl space to breathe in a way that it probably hasn't had the opportunity to do in decades. So again, not doing a full encapsulation on this. We're going to do the hybrid controlled ventilation program. We're going to put a really good liner down here, cover the soil. We're not going to put any of these insulation products on the curtain wall. It just doesn't get that cold here. And also, when you put those products on the walls, the insulation foam board or the spray foam, it's impossible to do termite inspections, even with the 3-inch safety space at the top that is used. It's better to leave these uninsulated so that you can do a full termite inspection. We're going to leave the curtain wall open just as it always has, and we're going to retain the natural stacking effect that this house was built with, which is going to improve the air quality upstairs. No odors and smells from heavy pool liners. We're not having to put a gargantuan dehumidifier in here because we are going to use the outside air when it's available. So a really nice hybrid program that we're going to do here. We're going to restore the ductwork. The customer is going to replace all their ductwork at a future date, but for our participation here, we're just going to arrange to have it patched up with flex ducting, the areas that we have to remove on the far side. So this sort of sets the table for the project, and we will see you at the finished project, finished part of the product, here in several days. We'll be here about a week to do all this work, and I look forward to sharing the final product and showing how everything works. Appreciate you joining us this morning. See you soon.